All right, brother, welcome back to the channel. Listen, just as a reminder, I dropped a free self-help tape. If you're interested in that type of thing, go to the description. It's going to be there. Also, I'm working on my vision crafting guide. If you want real direction in your life and you want to understand where you're trying to go 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now, I'm going to be dropping that very soon. So if you want to join the wait list, also down in the description, put your name and your email, and I'll let you know when it's available. So, in today's talk, I want to talk about what happens before a breakthrough. I'm actually kind of upset that I haven't talked about this before, or at least I don't think I've talked about this before, because this is extremely important when it comes to your growth, when it comes to your transformation, when it comes to your evolution. Anything that involves you becoming a better version of who you are, this is going to happen to you. And so many people fall for this trap and give up just at the moment that they were about to evolve. And then they have to start all over again. And I would hate for that to happen to you. So let's go ahead and have a quick conversation about the process. That way you can better prepare yourself and get yourself across the finish line, whatever that looks like for you. So this isn't solely just a semen retention thing, but semen retention is one of the easiest ways to feel exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So there's a semen retention journey, there's your health journey, there's your journey with money, journey with working, journey with becoming a better man, becoming a stronger man, right? It's going to happen in the process of your evolution of becoming the best version of yourself or a better version of yourself on the path to becoming the best version of yourself. Okay, MD, I understand what you're talking about. Can you tell me what this is? Okay, let's get into it. So whenever, let's say that we're on retention, right? And there's a difference between the things that you have to do versus what it is that I'm talking about. Does that make sense? So again, it's retention, but let's build on top of that and just say your health journey. So on your health journey, you realize that you're going to have to get an adequate amount of sleep. You're going to realize that you have to watch your calories or at least try to hit your macro goals. You have to make sure that you're either doing some type of exercise, whether that's cardio, whether that's resistance training, mobility training, whatever. You're going to realize that you have to do a little bit of research to make sure that you stay on top and make sure that your form is good and things of that nature. That's completely separate to what I'm talking about. So whenever it is that you're going on your journey, that's something that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do these things. Make sure you're getting sleep, make sure you're working out, make sure you're doing these things. These are the habits, the everyday habits or the every other day habits that you're going to have to do. Okay. So let's say that you've been doing that for some time. Now, again, for some guys, this may happen in a week. For some guys, this may happen in 2 weeks, a month, 6 months. It really depends on where you're at in your journey, but I can almost guarantee that this is going to happen to you. And so let's say that you've been doing this for 2 weeks. You've been really disciplined on this thing and you've been really attacking it and it's been working out for you. Well, there's going to be a moment to where one day you wake up, you're going to feel just a little different than normal, right? And what I mean by that is some of you, or some of us, when we go to the gym or we go to work out, there's going to be days we're like, I don't really feel like it. But we easily power through it, whether we have a mental strategy for that or a support system. We break through it, we go to the gym anyway, and we're like, you know what, we feel good, right? But then there's going to be a day to where you really don't feel like it. And I mean, really don't feel like it. For some reason, the resistance to these things becomes way stronger than it normally is. And it's not just with one thing. Usually it has to do with the habits altogether. So if you don't feel like waking up, you might try to stay or convince yourself to stay in bed a little longer. If you usually are working out for 2 hours or an hour, you might try to cut that time in half or cut your workout short. If you're usually doing 4 sets, you might do 3 or do 2. There's always going to be these little things that's going to be like it's it feels like the resistance that usually tries to stop you is growing at a ridiculous amount, almost as if like it's not normal. Like it's a little too strong. You know what I'm saying? Because we're used to dealing with a little bit and we're overcoming it. But for some reason, this moment feels a lot stronger than normal. Now, what most guys do what most guys do is they're like, you know what, I kind of empathize with myself. I have been working hard, let me go ahead and take the day off. They listen to the weak voice, right? Or what I call the weaker version of yourself. They listen to that voice, they take a break, or they cheat on their diet a little bit, or they do this, right? That, what I want to tell you, usually when that happens and you succumb to that, you have just failed the moment where transformation was about to happen. So, MD, what are you talking about? And so it's very easy to break this down. I want to ask you a question. If we're on a track, right, like a track in it where the people run, like track and field, right? If we're on a track and I say, hey, man, we're gonna run 100 meters. For my non-sprinters and runners out there, 100 meters is just a straightaway that's 100 meters long. So it's 100 meters long, and I say, okay, bro, let's just do a workout and go run it, right? At what percentage of effort are you going to put into that run? What, 70%, 80%? Some of you guys may even go a little harder than that. You may say 80 to 90. Some of you guys may even say, oh, bro, if I'm working out for real. I'm going 90 to 100, right? So let's just say that you're running and that's how it feels. You're doing whatever effort percentage that you said that you're going to put out. Now I want you to imagine that you're running and then I say, hey, bro, turn around. You turn around and there is a bloodlust animal, whatever animal, lion, tiger, bear, polar bear, them polar bears don't play, cheetah, whatever, and it has the look in the eye like, I want to eat this, bro. I want to eat this guy, right? It has that in here. It has that in you, right? When you turn around and you start sprinting, at what level of effort are you going to output into that sprint? Now, whatever that number may be for you, I can almost guarantee that it's going to be a lot more than what you said previously. Even if you said that you sprint 100%, I can almost guarantee that when you're sprinting and you turn around and you see that animal, I promise that 100% is probably going to turn into a 120. You know what I'm saying? Am I right or am I right? Okay. So here, what I want you to understand is, why is that? The reason why that happened, the reason why your level of effort has increased dramatically is because of what? There is a fear of death at hand. And when you are about to cease to exist, the level of effort that you're going to pour into whatever it is that is the action of your survival is going to increase dramatically. Some of you understand where I'm going with this. So again, when you are trying to transform or evolve into a better version of yourself, you have to remember that an old version of yourself has to cease to exist. So whenever the old version of yourself, what I like to call the weaker version of yourself, is about to cease to exist, you have to remember it's the equivalent of that animal chasing that or chasing you. So the level of effort is going to increase dramatically. Why? Because that version of you is about to cease to exist. I don't want to use the other word. Is about to cease to exist. So it's the same thing. And what a lot of you guys is realizing is that when you are about to go through your transformation, when you are about to fully transform because you've been taking part in the correct actions, a lot of you are getting outran by the weaker version of yourself because you're running at that normal pace that you chose the first time. You're not running as if your life depends on it, because your life does depend on it. And I don't care what we say, whether that's a weaker version of yourself or not, it's still a version of you. And a version of you that's going or putting forth effort at 120% is always going to beat at least the next version of you that's only going at about 70, 80, 90%. And so you understand why it's extremely important that you continue, don't take a day off, and you power through whatever it is that is trying to tell you, or whatever it is that you are doing. So those of us who are experienced in this, you understand that whenever you feel this, this is the moment to where you have to double down. This is the moment to where you have to go harder, because this is the moment to where you are going to transform finally, after all that work that you've been doing in the past week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. You're finally at the moment to where you get to fully transform, and the higher version of yourself that you've been chasing this whole time is now becoming the everyday who you are. But so many of us are failing in that trap of, oh, you know what, that extra resistance, that extra effort is saying, look, okay, well, we don't want it that bad, let me go ahead and relax. You see how this is all tying together? And so again, you have to remember that this is that moment. Because again, some of you guys, listen, this isn't your first evolution. This isn't your first transformation. This isn't your first breakthrough. You guys ever had the moment? For me, I felt this most when I was working out. So some of you guys may relate to this. Whenever you guys are working out and you really just didn't feel like working out, but you convince yourself to do it anyway, whether you had a good support system, community, or maybe you're just your own personal willpower or level of discipline. What happens when you finish that workout, right? Either during the workout, you're like, wow, this is a really great workout, or after the workout, you're like, wow, that was a really good workout. I'm so glad that I did it. The reason why you get that burst of euphoria, that burst of ecstasy, that burst of feeling accomplished is because you have now went through the transformation of ceasing to exist the weaker version of yourself, and you have now adopted the higher version of yourself. And so I want you to keep this in mind, because especially if you're listening to this and you're taking part in that action, just be patient, bro, and monitor the level of resistance that you're feeling normally. And then whenever it starts to feel just a little too much, and again, bro, you'll know it when you feel it. It just feels like the resistance is crazy for whatever reason. It's way more than you're used to, because, when you're first doing it, the level of resistance would maybe like a 30%. You know what I'm saying? And so we're like, okay, we're going from 20 to 50. We're used to doing it because, we've been taking part in the habits that it takes, the actions that it takes to move us forward. But for some odd reason, it's feeling like a smooth 70, smooth 90, smooth, like, for whatever, everything that could go wrong is going wrong. The resistance that you feel in your mind, the emotions that you're feeling, it just all starts flaring up. What I want you to think about in that moment is that is the last ditch effort that the weaker version of yourself is trying to put forth in order to get you to relax, to stop. Because here's the thing, whenever you do relax, whenever you do stop, whenever you say, no, thank you, well, guess what? You have just given the weaker version of yourself more time to exist in your reality. So now you have to go back to double dutching, going back and forth of, oh, I do it sometimes, oh, I don't do it. Oh, I do it sometimes, oh, I don't do it. This happens when you make a decision internally and you say, you know what? I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to commit to this thing. And you've been committed to this thing for a longer period of time. And so now your weaker version of yourself that is about to cease to exist, what it's trying to do is break your momentum. It's trying to stop you. It's trying to go back to 3 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 2 days. It's trying to go right back to that double dutching. However, before it tried to interrupt you, you were going 7, 14, 21 day streaks, 28 day streaks. You were really building that momentum. And anybody who has been working on anything understands that there is a real power in momentum. The universe cannot ignore action, but what it can ignore is somebody who is not taking action. And the weaker version of yourself is trying to get you to stop taking action so it can interrupt the progress that your momentum has been gaining for you based off of the actions that you have been taking. Has that helped? I hope that's helped, because that's something I was thinking about today as I was working out. I really didn't feel like working out. And I'm like, bro, where is this coming from? So I powered through it. And guess what? I've been working out. And again, the same thing for this channel. It's like I feel the resistance. And I'm like, there's a little bit more resistance than normal. And I thought, oh yeah, that's definitely what's happening. So I know that I had to share that with you guys, and I wanted you to benefit in the same way that I'm benefiting from it. So if you like the video, leave a comment down below. Listen, I'm going off of likes and views. I know that you guys like something by the likes. I know you guys like something based off the views. So if you want me to make some type of content, the same type of content, you got to make sure that you're engaging. A like, a comment, let me know that you F with this video. That way I can make more like it. All right. So I appreciate you guys for spending this 15 minutes with me, and I'll see you guys in my next video. All right. Peace out.